I recently did a few things to the bike, the SR500. One of them was to change the oil. I put just over 2 litres into the tank, started the bike, and as you can see from the dipstick here, it's actually empty. Now this is a problem on SRs called wet sumping, and typically the problem is a dump valve, an oil dump valve inside the clutch cover. So today we will be changing that valve. The process is pretty straightforward. We drain the oil out of the bike first of all, and then we'll remove the footrest and the kickstarter to give access to the clutch cover itself. Don't necessarily need to take the brake pedal off. Once the screws are out, the Allen bolts, a gentle tap just to release the clutch cover itself. And it's worth noting on this one that there's a rubber seal at the bottom of the oil filter housing. I'm just going to point to it there. Keep an eye on that. You might have a black one on your bike. This one's red for some reason, but that will pop off and fall on the carpet as soon as look at you. So I'll just drop the brake lever down. Be careful with the old gasket, although I do have a new gasket in this instance. And the spacer for the kickstarter I was put back on the shaft for safekeeping. And this is the dump valve we were talking about that we need to replace. That's the guy in question that we're going to change today. Okay, so now it's over to the bench. A test with the pencil. Well, it seems to be pretty well resistance there. Shouldn't be too much of a problem, but I don't know. So I got my new valve from Yambits on the internet, and this is it. Comes in a little kit. It's about a tenner, not life-changing amount, but okay, that's the valve. The seal only goes in one way. It has a tapered edge on the inside where the ball bearing sits and a flat edge on the upper. To remove it, I simply put a screwdriver in the slot and slid it upwards carefully, remove the ball bearing and spring, and then inserted the new one. Not rocket science, this little job. Put the ball bearing on top of the spring, and again the taper goes on the inside and seats against the bearing, so it's the taper down. Okay, and it just simply pushes on with the thumb, nothing more than that. Okay, now a quick test, a little bit more resistance perhaps. My new gasket is worth noting. The new gasket, when I got it, it actually had the template cut out, but not the hole for the dump valve in the gasket itself. I'm just going to give you an illustration. There you go. So it's actually kind of cut, but not released. So certainly, without that being released, it would never work. So there you go. Remove the gasket paper accordingly, and then restore it. Put the oil back in, and away we go.